As the COVID-19 rates in Nevada decrease, the state eases up on the restrictions. Restaurants can fill capacity to 35% from 25%. There's no longer seating capacity for outdoor dining. Casino floors as well as gyms increase their capacity to 35% as well. While all this seems great and like a positive step in the right direction, there may be some backlash. Considering previous trends, when things open back up, the virus rates also go back up. Is this safe for the Nevada community's physical health, or is it only beneficial for individuals' mental health and businesses' financial states? Let's take a look at how this will play out. The intention is to have things open back up to 50% by the end of May and eventually return to normal. Governor Sisolak is pushing for the reopening of the state of Nevada. He states, "As we ease restrictions, we must follow the science and studies, which states clearly and repeatedly that closures to certain settings are more impactful in reducing disease transmission." Nathan Ehrlich, freshman at the University of Nevada, Reno, speaks on his views on the reopening of the state of Nevada, and more specifically in Reno.
My personal opinion on whether or not the campus and restrictions from COVID-19 should be lifted or at least lowered in severity. I'm obviously all for supporting that, and I don't think it's really that big of a risk at this point. I think a lot of people have already had it, and the people who have had it, they're immune for a little bit, so they're fine. And then the vaccines are running out right now, and I think it should be at your own discretion at this point.
In contrast to Nathan's positive thoughts on the reopening, let's hear what senior citizen Bernard Tanghetti has to say about his concerns.
Will continue to mutate. And so the only way to avoid mutation is to reduce the rate of infections. There are two ways to do that: either get the vaccine or wear a mask and practice social distancing. To some extent, if you've had the disease, I suppose you have some level of immunity, but it seems uncertain.
Similarly, Annie Lamy, a clinical nurse at Sutter Hospital, has a few concerns as well.
The different variants and constant mutation of COVID-19 make it difficult to open fully back up again. Extreme groups of anti-maskers and other contributors can make numbers skyrocket again. We see a concern in having enough supplies in hospitals around the country to deal with more hospitalizations due to reopening. Slowly reopening would be the best solution because we are currently at a good spot, so why mess it up?
Although some health officials see potential risks with the state reopening, Mark Pandori, the director of the Nevada State Public Health Laboratory, sheds a positive light on the situation.
With cases lowering, it makes total sense to reopen. We've been beaten up so many times by this virus that it's hard to have a definite opinion. But economic suffering translates to real punishment in people's lives. You don't recover overnight from opening back up. It's not an on and off switch, but it is a step in the right direction. I feel like if we reopen and the decision's based on science, personally I'd feel safe about it. With that being said, we're walking a tightrope, scientifically and operationally. We can see that in various parts of the state as we think cases are lower and they result in blowing back up. And as one reopens, we face the possibility of resurgence, so we must consider all possibilities.
Reporting for RSJ, Morgan Ehrlich, more updates to come as the reopening unravels.